everybody. Welcome to the Space Tomatoes podcast. We are here again. I am your one host, LX, and we have Mr. Havok. Hey, Havok.
I'm your other one host, Havok.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how to really phrase that.
I'm two hosts. No, I'm the two host. That's what I
You want to
am.
do the whole? You can do the whole thing. I'll let you.
No, no,
You could
no,
be
no.
the
I
one man
like where this is
show.
going. I like where this is going. I'm the two host. I'll be two hosts. You be one host.
Right. So we're doing it by ourselves this week. No guest for us.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants to sign up, like, but we asked maybe that you do the video thing because it seems to be pretty popular with everybody else. I don't know. Not putting down anybody that doesn't want to do video. I think the audience really appreciates showing up on camera. I don't know why.
Yeah. So far, the we've received several comments and feedback in different areas, chat groups and comments on X, even where people are saying, it's good that we have video of our guests. They're not real thrilled with the static avatar image, whatever, for the to replace an actual video of a person.
Well, I mean, they're getting what they pay for.
I guess that's true no matter what happens, right?
So,
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody wants to come on, I mean, you don't have to even be a participant in the War Dragons community. That's just kind of where we started because that's the people that we knew. But hey, maybe you're a landscape guy or a auto mechanic, or maybe you fix refrigerators or a plumber. I don't know. I'd be interested in talking to anybody in any kind of field. Nursing. I don't know. We had a
Nursing,
bull
that's an
rider, right?
interesting
So,
one.
like, I mean, go.
Now, can you qualify on nursing, or are we talking about like registered nurse type position, or are we talking about like just someone that likes to nurse?
You can nurse a beer. I don't know anybody.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
You could be nursing a beer. You could be, I don't know. You could be like one of those weirdos that dresses up in a diaper and nurses as part of some weird fetish thing.
Weirdos would probably make a really good guest, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, it probably would. It'd be like there. I mean, I could, yeah, I can think of a billion things I'd like to ask on that one. I'm like, hey man, this is gonna get weird, but I got questions.
So, yeah, for our audience, I mean, maybe they don't even know us very well. I mean, if they've never conversed with us in those silly game chats that we were in, maybe they don't even know us. So,
Wow.
why do we go by LX and Havok? So I can say for me, the LX part is back in the early 2000s. I was joining various forums from cars to whatever, and I needed a screen name, and I had a Mustang, an LX Mustang with a 460 engine in it. Hence the LX 460. That's as simple as it gets. People like try to read into it, like, what is that? Like a Lexus? No, they never made that
I was
model.
just gonna say, so are you sure it wasn't just a Lexus?
No,
Like,
they
or
never
was
made
it?
an LX4. They made an LX470, but never a 460.
Oh,
There is a lawnmower, like a Toro lawnmower, that's a
that's what
LX460
it was.
model, but no,
It was the
it
lawnmower.
was the
You were just like,
lawnmower,
man, look at that lawnmower.
right?
I'm going for that.
But no, that's the story of the name thing. I don't know. Is there a significance to yours? I know you share yours
Oh
with
yeah,
one of your pups.
yeah. Well, it actually started before the pup, kind of. Um, so again, back to gaming, right? Something that I've enjoyed throughout my life, primarily PC gaming. Uh, way back in the day, and I would do silly things, like nowadays you see gamer channels with people doing because I was an FPS player, so first person
Mm.
shooter, and you'll see people doing silly stuff and making YouTubes about it, right? And just like doing silly stuff in the game. Well, I was pretty much well known for doing pretty stupid and silly stuff in game and having fun with it. And so, one of my buddies ended up starting to just like say all the time, "Oh, here he comes, causing havoc," And so I adopted that as my player name.
Okay.
And then later on, I ended up with a Rottweiler puppy, and I named so my first Rottweiler was named Chaos with a K, Kaos, and
Is there
then
something to that, or are you just like a really bad speller, like everybody assumes?
no, I can spell fairly well actually. I wanted to change it up a little bit. No real significance to that, just different, right?
It really messes with the autocorrect. Like it did it first before,
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. And then so anyway, my second Rottweiler came along, and I named her Havok, right? Because I wanted to stay in line, chaos, havoc,
Okay.
etc. And so Havok was my dog for 10 years or so, and it just stuck. I just kept the name, and I've been Havok ever since. So it really is rooted in gaming, but followed through into real life as my dog.
Mm.
You know?
So you
So
so
for
how long? 20 years or so you've used that name?
oh gosh, it's got to be longer than that. Probably closer to 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is kind of a
But
weird thing because like our parents don't really understand that, I don't think. And but when you use a name online like that, it does kind of bleed over into real life a little bit. Like it's weird for me to
it's
call you by
yeah,
your real name sometimes, even though it's
George,
appropriate sometimes in certain situations.
John, Jim, Jeff. Why all the J's? Man, G's. It could be G, right? G off.
Right? I mean, people call me LX. I mean, certain people, like from certain segments, and it seems natural. And
I do.
oh yeah, you do, and and I answer to it. It's just like a thing. I'm not sure, certain people would understand. I need to stop saying that. I did realize when watching another episode, I say certain things a lot.
What did you
You
say?
know, I say a lot. I don't know why I say that.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I do the same. You know. Yeah, I do. I've been consciously trying to pick out little things that I do, either through someone commenting on it or
Mm-hmm.
and me not recognizing it, or more importantly, a lot of it comes from editing, right? As I'm sitting there going through this again and again and again and again, um, you know, thing, uh, I start to pick up on these habits that I have that I'm not real fond of,
Mm.
but they're ingrained in my speech patterns apparently.
Weird, right?
So
You don't notice it until you start watching yourself back. If we only had a camera on us all the
yeah,
time, we'd
I
probably be
actually
horrified.
on one of the older ones I started playing with editing in Premiere. Um, there was a lot of knows and a lot of likes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to just put up like a little flashy counter every time it hit for me, just like ding ding,
That would be good, right? Like
48,
a self realization of
49.
what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't figure out how to do that yet, so I'm super noob on Premiere. But hey, I think it's getting
You're
better.
getting
I think
much
I like
better at
the
it.
Yeah, I think I like the video edits now far better than what we were pulling off of the service we use. Yeah. I mean, the service is great. Don't get me wrong. If you're using them, and I'm not going to say the name because I just don't think that's appropriate. But if you're using an online service and they have AI tools and editing, and they can cut out little clips for you and do all this stuff, hey, that's great. That's what we started with. But it just it never put out the quality or gave us that look of kind of the polish, right? I guess is what it is, right? But it was easy. Textual editing, remove words from inside of a paragraph essentially, and it follows through into the video. So some really neat features. Just the way that it came out wasn't as fine tuned or as granular as I wanted the editing to be. and because it has because it's automatically going through and taking different video formats and styles, etc., and reframing them, it kind of takes high quality video and trashes it, and takes lower quality video on the other side and lifts it up, but at the expense of the higher quality video, which is it's great, right? I mean, if you want to do something and start a podcast or start doing filming, whatever, like putting stuff out, content, it's an easy way to get started, and it's an easy way to edit. And I will tell you right now, there is the the number one time suck, the number one thing that takes up all the time in this is editing. It's not doing this. This is easy, if you will.
I
Maybe
tried
not
to
easy
warn
for
you.
everyone, but yeah, I know you did. You really did. And it drives me nuts sometimes, right? Less so when it's just us two, right? Because the equipment, and there's another one, right? Right? Like, do I need you to acknowledge every time I make a statement? No, of course. But anyway, we have the equipment set up to get a little bit higher quality. We're in a static location. This is something we do frequently. We've had chances to play and tweak and tune, and no, it's not where I want it to be, and I don't think you feel that either.
Right.
But it's a lot better than it was. Now, when we bring guests on, we're dealing with who knows what kind of equipment, you know.
That's the big variable.
Uh,
And it always has. Even when I was doing the audio
yep.
only podcast, it having guests was quite the challenge, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, and I thought scheduling was bad, and it is, right? Scheduling is tough. Not always. Some people make it really easy, and it just flows. It's easy.
And then some people just do no shows and that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Some people
Not even going to
confirm
give
the
them a
night
mention.
before. Yeah, some people confirm the night
Mm.
before, and then just don't show up the next morning. Don't even read. Don't even respond and say, "Hey, I can't make it," or "Sorry, I missed it," or anything like that. They just and we're not going to mention any names. Okay,
It's a
so
really
we
good
don't
thing
want
that
to do
we're not the
that.
kind of people that would be bitter over something like that and you know even bring it up.
I'm more disappointed than anything, and just disappointed that there was just such a general lack of
Respect.
any kind of
Yeah.
respect, right? Any, right? So it is what it is.
Hmm.
People are people.
Lessons learned. They they
Yep.
they are they are on the little list now.
They're not on any list. They're just not going to be on any list either. That's all. It is what it is.
No, I mean stuff comes up.
And
I mean it would have been just as easy as, hey, I had something come up, can't do it. Instead, we're sitting there,
it's all it would have taken.
twiddling our thumbs, waiting for somebody.
It's all it would have taken. I would have been totally cool with that. I would have
I
been
mean,
like,
life
oh yeah,
happens, right?
hey, no worries. Exactly. Life happens. This isn't the most important thing going on in anyone's life,
No.
not mine. So, I'm not going to expect that from someone else. But yeah, having the courtesy to be able to say, hey, even if it was after the fact, a couple hours after, hey man, I totally screwed up. I really apologize, and let's figure it out. Or even, hey, given given more time to think about it, I decided I didn't want to, so I apologize, but you know or even just, hey, I just decided I didn't want to. Just something would have been cool, but instead it's just nothing. And hey, some people are just like that. you know
Hey, Havoc,
don't commit if you're not going to do it,
considering things, again, I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't do this.
right?
No, I'm letting
Me
you
too.
know. I'm just messing with
Yeah, me too.
you.
I'm letting you know. That's it. I'm done.
So how's life going for you? You doing anything fun,
It's good. It's
entertaining?
hot.
It's what?
It's hot. We went. It's hot.
Oh, I don't even want to hear you complaining about it being hot. Dude, we're
Hey,
having
you
like
choose where you live.
a record-breaking heat wave down here, so, or feels like temperature like 110 or 115 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been consistently between 95 and 97, and the feels like is 105 to 115 or something like that.
So this coming week is your fault then.
Yeah, right.
No, because we're going to be in the 97, 96, 95 range too
Hey,
for the week.
sending some love your way.
Damn it, Florida. Keep your hot
Any
stuff to
tomatoes you
yourself.
had left are done. They're shriveling up and
Mm-hmm.
saying, "See you later."
Yeah,
Space
well,
or otherwise kind of tomatoes.
we have some still in little pots from starting them
Mm-hmm.
because the turkey decided that it was going to nest in the high tunnel.
Oh, nice.
And for us growing tomatoes outside of a high tunnel is problematic.
Hmm.
Not from any reason other than one. You know, you're kind of in a similar situation, but you guys are way more consistent than we are, right? You get rain events, and during the harvest season, your rain events are quite typically pretty set. You know, afternoon comes,
Yep.
clouds come in, drops a bunch of rain, clouds go away, and there you are. For us, we'll go a week without rain, and we're watering, and then we'll get like 2 days of rain, just
Hmm.
solid rain, and every single tomato on there is split, every one, and there's just nothing you can do about
Yeah.
it. And so that's why we grow them in the high tunnel, because then we don't get the splitting,
Right.
right? We don't really have much of an issue with other stuff, pests. We know how to mitigate that. Blossom end rot, haven't had that since we started adding crushed, like not crushed, powdered eggshells,
Okay.
about a tablespoon into the hole
Mm-hmm.
every time we plant. Just take that and mix it
Do you
in.
buy those or do you make them?
We just keep our eggshells.
Okay.
So just keep a little gallon Ziploc bag or whatever, container of some form, whatever you want. And just every time you crack open eggs to make eggs, you just take those shells and throw them in there.
How do you
And
powderize them?
then, well, so what we do then is we'll take a bunch of eggshells and we'll put them on a parchment paper. And then I set the oven to go to 350,
Okay.
right? And then I set it for a half hour, right? And I do the oven auto turn off thing, whatever, and I set it for 30 minutes. I put that stuff in there and turn the vent fan on high because it doesn't smell great. But I set that in there just to bake off any kind of potential pathogen or whatever from, the eggs being out, broken open, and exposed. Then I just let it cool down naturally. 2 hours later, I come back, pull the tray out, then I take it all and we put it in a food processor. And we just grind that stuff until it's nothing but a powder. And
All
we
right.
end up with a pretty large, hefty sack of powder. And you just take, I want to say a tablespoon is probably a little heavy, right? Maybe half a tablespoon, just sprinkle some of that in there. Now, that's not going to solve blossom end rot if you're experiencing it. If you want to solve that real quick, pro tip, ancient like wisdom. I say ancient, of course, it's probably like, I don't know, 50, 60 years, 70 years. I can't imagine it's been that long. But, Tums, go to even just like, Dollar General or whatever and buy the cheapest antacid chewable Tums type stuff you
Mm-hmm.
can find. Drop one or two of those around your plant, water them in,
You got to crush them up or just
and
throw them in there?
they should dissolve pretty
All right.
quickly. That's the whole point of them, right? So once you water them, they'll start to dissolve pretty quickly. If you want to break them up, you can. But do that, and then blossom end rot will go away because they've got high levels of calcium in it, and that's what your plant needs to stop that blossom end
I
rot.
see.
And blossom end rot is exactly what it sounds like. If you look at a way a tomato, most fruit, tomatoes are fruit, by the way. Look it up. Go ahead. I'll wait. Do 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 do. All right, bing. There you go. Fruit. The flower flower comes out, and then as the fruit actually comes up behind the flower, right? And you'll see the flower drop off, but that little dot at the bottom of your tomato, that's where the blossom was. Now, without enough calcium, I'm not sure exactly what causes it, but you'll start to get rot right at that end nub,
Mm.
and it'll just basically rot out your tomato. It just makes them all crap.
Yeah.
So calcium,
We had a problem with those
eggshells.
leaf-footed bugs. They came in and they were
Oh
sucking
yeah,
them all dry. Nasty little things.
yeah. The leaf-footed are weird too. We get those as well. We don't usually get too many of them because we deploy uh, pests, and we do a lot. We try to do a lot to attract natural predators to things like that.
Mm,
But we have had them, and they suck. But typically, all they do is they just like they'll suck out a little piece,
yeah,
and then you get like this weird deformed tomato.
right.
Not It's not bad. We still eat them.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't really care.
Yeah.
Slice off the area if there's anything there, just throw them in the Ziploc or container or whatever and wait, freeze, and just throw them in the Vitamix and make sauce.
Mm. Yeah, all our
Good
stuff's pretty
stuff.
much done except the Seminole pumpkin this year. At this point, so what's that?
We're
Oh, what's that?
Go ahead. Once that what?
No, I don't know. I was I don't know, thinking about the rainy season because yeah, we're getting the rain now and
Huh.
the heat and everything's just pretty much done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For us, the squash are just going in freaking insane right
Really?
now. I mean, we're just pulling 5-gallon buckets full of squash
Wow.
every day. Yeah,
Wish I was
yeah.
closer.
Yeah, me too. Because I come eat squash.
Mm.
If you want squash, I have more squash than I know what to deal with. It's just tons of it. I've got patty pans. I've got yellow squash. I've got zucchini all right now coming out from.
I'm
Yeah,
jealous.
we got a lot.
Very jealous.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to buy that stuff. I never used to like
Do
that
you
stuff,
really?
but it's good.
Oh, I love it. I love yellow squash, and I think we talked about this before. But one of my things about yellow squash, if you roast it, right? It's not like a whatever you roast it, the meat of it turns out, and it's kind of bready.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? It kind of has the consistency and texture of a soft bread.
I was actually
Oh,
asking my wife the other day, like cooked. Can you tell the difference between the yellow squash? Can you hear me?
one second, 1 second. Oh boy, oh boy. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Go get your mom. Go on, go get.
Coming down to
Sorry.
say hello.
Yeah, she every morning she comes down and I'm in my chair, and I turn around and just kind of give her, body rubs, if you will, and just tell her good morning. And
That's cool,
normally
man.
I say, okay, let's
I'm
go.
jealous of that too. I kind of I'm missing
I
having a
know.
dog.
I understand that. I do. I really
So,
do.
but yeah, I
That's
was
a
gonna get into the dog story. We got a dog story to talk about a little bit, but I was wondering, can you personally tell the difference between the yellow squash and the zucchini when it's cooked, or do they kind of taste the same to you? You
100%.
can?
Yeah,
I really can't.
absolutely. The taste of it is going to be dependent on what you season it
Oh,
with,
all right.
right? But the texture, 100%.
All right. Yeah,
100%.
I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
The zucchini is a little bit more, I want to say it's like a very smooth, creamier texture
Hmm.
typically. And the yellow squash, again, to me, is more like a bready texture. It just depends. But yeah, I certainly can. Yeah, my wife can too. She's not as big a fan of the yellow squash.
I'm curious if other people can. Maybe leave a comment down there. Let me know. I want to know. Because
Yeah.
like the same thing. So cooking with red onions versus white onions. When they're cooked, I can't
Mm,
tell the difference. They taste the same to me. Yeah,
really?
I
Mm-mm.
don't know.
No, red onions are way more spicy.
Well, I can see that if they're uncooked, but the cooked ones, I don't know. I can't really tell.
I can. Totally
I'm gonna
can.
give you a blind taste test this next time. I'm see if you
Okay.
can tell.
Okay. I'm down for
Yeah,
that.
maybe I'm just not
I
a
really
very
am.
good taster. I'm not sure.
Well, you haven't tasted this stuff throughout your
Yeah,
life.
that's true.
So, it's kind of like being new to experiencing all these different things. you haven't gotten to the nuance of them
Right.
so much as you've just gotten to the point where I do like them, so
Yeah.
I eat them. So that might be part of it.
Yeah.
I just, you know, picky eaters
For those that
anonymous.
don't know, I was the pickiest eater of all time. No exaggeration. Like it was bad. Terrible.
Can you just let's expand on that a little bit. What was your like? I mean, you know, you ate food, obviously.
Obviously.
Well, hold on. Let's pull that one back. You ate substances that were claimed to be food or have food style ingredients
Right.
in them.
I mean, I didn't,
What,
waste away.
what was your menu like? Like, you know, if you had a menu of things that you would choose off of on a daily basis, what was that menu like?
Pizza, grilled cheese. That's about 90% of it.
And also those golden arches, chemical
Oh, that
plants.
that too. Yeah, I would. Yeah, yeah, horrible. I can't even believe I ate that garbage.
And when we say pizza, we mean pizza with cheese on it. That's
Yeah,
all,
no, that's
just
it.
cheese,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah. So cheese pizza, grilled cheese,
Yep.
essentially the same thing,
Lots of
bread and
carbs,
cheese.
tons of carbs.
Yeah. Yeah. This was and now you're eating like squash
Hmm.
and stuff with onions in
Right.
it, and you even tried and at least somewhat enjoyed Brussels
Yep.
sprouts,
We do asparagus on a regular basis. I like that now. Yeah,
asparagus.
that's good.
That's a newer one.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of weird. I kind of like the way my pee smells after I eat asparagus.
Yeah, you're a weirdo.
Like that's just so weird.
I've got
Like,
I've got green
like
beans on the menu now. My wife does not like green beans. She will eat
oh really?
the snow peas though. I
Hmm.
would have never eaten that stuff.
Is it all green beans she doesn't
Sh
like, or is it just canned?
No, we don't do the canned ones. Just fresh. I mean, we grow them at here.
Right.
She tried them. She tried them a couple times. She just says she doesn't like them.
Oh, okay. Maybe we can change that opinion as well with like the right recipe or something.
Well, you hold her down. I'll
You
shove
never
it
know.
down her throat.
Well, I don't we don't want to do that, but just like I've had people tell me before, hey, I don't like this, and I'm like, well, would you be willing to try it if I cooked it? And they're like, sure, I'll give it a shot, but I don't like it.
Right.
And I've had some of them come back and say, yeah, I'm still not a fan.
Yeah.
I've had others come back and go, wow, okay, yeah, this I like.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
Oh, by the way, don't shove one of those chicken neck things at me. That kind of grosses me out. The thing you were posting the picture of the other day. That's what that was, right? Oh,
No,
that wasn't? Oh, I thought it was one of those chicken neck things. What was that?
no, it's a chicharrone.
Oh, what is that?
So it's basically like it's basically you know um it's pork.
Oh, okay.
It's skin on pork that's been kind of
Like bacon?
cooked up, and it kind of is. It has some qualities like bacon. The skin portion is far more crunchy, but it's got that fat and that meat that's like I love it. You may not like it. I don't know. Some people don't,
All right.
and that's fine. But yeah, no, that wasn't a chicken
Oh,
neck.
I thought it was one
Chicken
of those
neck.
chicken neck things you were telling me about.
No, if you see one of those, it just looks like a piece of
Oh,
chicken,
all right.
just a small piece of chicken, and those are really good. I mean, those right there. Close your eyes and take one bite, and I guarantee you'll be a fan forever.
That's what you
You'll
say.
just be
I
like,
got to get
dude,
past that part.
close your eyes, just give it one bite. You know what I
Have
mean?
you ever tried
It's
that stuff I posted that picture of that fermented shark? That
no,
harkle? Is it? I don't know how you say
but barful. No, I'm
it.
not.
It's like putrefied shark meat or something. I don't know. It just doesn't sound very appetizing to me, but I suppose it's an acquired taste.
I don't. Why would you acquire a taste for that? It's like, hey, come here, look this stuff. Don't smell it because you're gonna barf. But you know, it's like the durian fruit, right? We talked a little bit about that with Swanee. Man, I it's the same thing. It smells like raw sewage. It's really good once you eat it, but I don't have no desire to go looking for it because it smells so
Why
rancid.
wouldn't you just have a banana or something instead?
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Or an apple or something.
Bananas are good. Yeah, they don't stink.
Well,
At least not to me.
yeah. Oh, back to the dog thing. I we were talking about that. So, we've always had dogs. We've talked about that. But the last year or so, we've taken care of my my wife's mother's. Well, I mean, her mom and dad's dog. He was he was aged. He was 12 and he was getting up there, and they just couldn't do the care that he needed. So we've had him for the last year, and he passed a couple months back, and I really missed him. So my father called me, and or somebody that he's acquainted with, not really a friend, had a German Shepherd that he was looking to rehome, and so we decided to give it a chance. Unfortunately, he had a very high prey drive, and the cats, they did not get along at all, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit. I really enjoyed having him here. Besides that fact, I didn't want to have a dead cat, and it was just an accident waiting to happen. So we had to send him back, and he's waiting for the right home. But I'm venting a little bit because I am a little heartbroken about it.
Yeah, well, that's a tough situation. I mean, the situation, you know, you and I have talked about it at length, I think,
Yeah,
and the situation you were put in my opinion, was messed up, right? There should have been more. The information should have been more forthcoming. There was some omission of critical
a little
facts,
bit.
in my
Yeah.
opinion. Yeah, and if you think back on it from that perspective, then it's almost like you were duped into taking this
I prefer
dog.
to think that I don't know.
Would you have gone and taken the dog if you knew all this ahead of time?
If he had that much of a prey drive towards cats, probably not. Absolutely not, honestly. But
Yeah,
it
so
is what
you
it
were
is.
duped into it
He spent a week
in
here.
my
We
eyes.
enjoyed our time. Super smart dog. I mean, he was catching on to stuff
Yeah.
super faster than any dog we've ever had, honestly. But he was 2.5, and he enjoyed working. He just did not enjoy the cats, and the cats really didn't enjoy him. And it wasn't fair to either of them to have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's I mean, it's something that you have to go through, anytime you're introducing new animals to existing animal structure.
Mm,
That's always a tough one. It's a lot easier when you bring a small, you know, puppy into the equation
yeah.
that gets to learn as it's growing. Don't mess with the things with the sharp, pointy stuff on their,
Mm-hmm.
paws. Um, but I mean, it's always a crapshoot, right? I mean, you've got a very tense situation on your hands when you introduce new animals to an existing structure with animals in it.
That's true. That's
You
true.
know, and it's exacerbated when there was you know no training contrary to that behavior, and you weren't aware that that behavior existed until after the fact.
Yeah.
Those two things make it very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's the first really adult dog we've ever tried to bring into our home, and it, I don't know. I wouldn't say we've learned some things. I guess I wouldn't say for everybody else to be discouraged by that. Everybody, every dog's different.
Yeah,
I wish
I
it
would
would have
just
worked out differently, is all.
I would just say this, right? If excuse me, if you're looking to get a dog and bring it into your home, make sure, and regardless if you have other animals or not, make sure you understand, number one, the breed that you're desiring, right? And I don't mean, oh yeah, I did a quick search on it, and I read this one site, or I've watched videos on them, or my friend had one. I mean, literally dig in
Right.
and do some research. What is this breed like?
Mm-hmm.
And that is especially true if you're going for you know working or herding class dogs, right? That's when you get into potentially dangerous situations if you're not
Could be.
aware of how to raise them, how to train them, how to socialize them, how to care for them, how to exert dominance over them, and make sure that you are the alpha in that situation always, right? um, and the other piece to that is, rescue dogs are awesome. Definitely. I wouldn't want to discourage anyone from doing that. Just make sure that you do your due diligence. Make sure you're working with a solid, reputable rescue organization or an individual that you trust, and make sure that you understand that dog and its history and triggers, issues, like a full complete understanding of this you know entity you're going to bring into your home, right? And doing so, you'll be prepared for what comes along, right? It gets tough if it becomes more of an, I guess, more of an emotional decision, right, as opposed to one grounded in some logic and some forethought and investigation, and that makes it tough.
That was the problem I was having. My heart and my brain were telling me two completely different things. My logically, I could say that like this is not going to work out, but my heart was telling me maybe there's something I could do. But the more people I talk to, professional people that know these things better, and we've been around German Shepherd, and I was thinking back to this since '97 is when we got our first one, so it's been a couple minutes, and the more research I did, it's just that prey drive is just really hard to overcome if it's not done when they're itty
Puppies.
bitty little puppies, right? And even
Yep.
then, you can't just let them run loose. You got to the working dogs are completely different, and I was ready for that part. It was
Yeah.
certainly an adjustment for the week that we had here. We were on a routine, and it was definitely changing the way that I'd been conducting myself in the past. It's a lot of work. It's definitely not a type of
Yeah.
dog I would recommend for somebody that works a lot or just doesn't have time to devote to it, or that has the
Yeah,
area
for
for them
sure.
to run.
Yeah.
But
A nice yard and area for them to be able to be
right.
outside and get some outside time, walks, exercise.
But they can't just be
It,
shoved outside and left to their own devices either. They have to be worked. They have to have a job. They have to have a purpose. If
exactly.
they don't have that purpose, they're going to be destructive and not an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. Yeah. No question about
Hmm.
it. Yeah. It's it's overlooked too much, and unfortunately the place where that ends up having the most impact is people declare dog breeds unsafe or
Right.
dangerous, and it's not that those dog breeds are either of those things. And we hear it all the time, but it is true. It's the owner, it's the person that raised and trained or did not train
Hmm.
that dog. You know.
Well, that's the whole thing
Now, don't
about
get me wrong.
dog trainers.
There
Even
can, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was just going to say with dog trainers, you're not really training the dog per se. You're training the person that owns the dog to do the required things,
Yeah,
because the dog
absolutely.
is just
That's
going to
what
do
dog
dog
training
things.
is. Well, the dog will do it. It doesn't. You don't need a trainer to teach a dog. You don't need any of that stuff. You just need to know how to teach the dog to
Hmm.
do things. And that's where the trainer comes in. And like you said, they're training you, not the dog.
Right.
Oh, the dog did so well. Yes, you did.
Mm.
What? I'm not in training. Yeah, you are. You're learning how to train your dog.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a dog trainer for every dog you have. Now, I'm not going to discourage people from doing this, but once you learn how to train a dog, you know how to train a dog. It doesn't get, I mean, you can make slight modifications to it, but it doesn't change.
Right.
The basic concept is there.
Yeah.
And a big one is just consistency, like all the time. Like never, ever, ever let up on that consistency, especially when you have a dog that could be dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not dangerous in a, snarling way, aggressive. It's just they can get away from you
No,
very quickly.
it's more circumstantial, right? They get away from you and get backed into a corner and they're scared,
Right.
or something happens that triggers the dog, right? It triggers that prey drive.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not paying attention. The dog hasn't been, consistently trained to respond to you in a certain way, and the dog just starts tearing off after something or someone,
Right.
and you haven't taken the time, you weren't consistent, you were lax about certain things, whatever the case may be, and now there's a situation where danger is imminent,
Yeah.
and
I do believe those first few months are very critical when socializing the dog to different things. If they don't experience those things, and I've had that firsthand because we had a dog that was we had one from a puppy, and then somebody offered us another dog. This is many years back, but he was already 9 months old at the time, and he had 6 or 9 months, I don't remember, but he wasn't quite exposed to all the things, and he was always had a dog aggression his entire life just because he was never socialized and exposed to that thing. But it could be anything from a guy on a lawnmower to a little kid to cats, and in our case, and if they haven't seen that stuff, they can be quite reactive to it.
oh yeah, without question. Yep.
And this is
It's a
Dog
tough
Talk
one,
101 on Space Tomatoes.
right? Well, I even go as far as to go, the initial bonding, even like, this was a new thing from my wife, but when we got our, she got a Belgian Shepherd. She's had a couple of them previously. A Groenendael. So it kind of looks like a black German Shepherd, but with longer hair, different facial features, just kind of similar. Um,
They're
and
pretty similar,
they're
yeah.
a herding. Yeah, they're a herding dog,
Mm-hmm.
very fast, very agile, and very, very insanely high prey drive, insanely high.
Right.
Um, and so she had gotten that dog, and I got her, my another Rottweiler, because Rottweilers just my thing, and I love them, and they're the best dog that walks the face of the planet, and you can argue, but you're wrong. So anyway, back on the subject, when her dog came, right, um she's like, oh, and go ahead and take her out. I'm like, no. And she was in her little crate, and I gave her to my wife, and I'm like, you need to be the first person that is, physically with and next to and this dog, because that right there is going to cement bonding, right? And then when my dog Chaos came, same thing. I was like, do not, because we pulled up because airport, right? We had to have her flown, and we pulled up to the place to get her, and I was like, do not, under any circumstance, open that crate. Do not just grab the crate, bring out here. Do not, pet. Do not put fingers through. None of that stuff. And it's the same thing. It's like, I want, when that crate opens, I'm the person that's pulling them out of that crate. I am now, you know, bonding with them as their primary bond, right? And that's kind of important for a dog, right? And there's nothing wrong with a family bond. Both of our dogs are very bonded with the family, but there is a special bond, and it's, it's visible. You can see it, where, Chaos is bonded to me and Keely is bonded to my wife,
Right.
right? And that's an important thing.
Mm-hmm. Doing all this dog talk, maybe we can get on the birds next time, and then everything goes out the window because birds are just maniacs. And
You mean as in like the biting kind that yell obscenities at
yeah,
people,
those kind.
or like chickens?
No, like parrots and conures and those kind of things.
Oh, the biting kind.
Yeah,
They yell
the ones with the
obscenities at
hooked
people.
beaks that will gouge into your neck and leave a big flap of flesh hanging there. Not on me. It's just he didn't like my wife very much for some reason.
Yeah, yeah. I almost got I almost actually there were two birds I wanted, but a cockatoo. I almost got one,
Mm,
and the decision not to get that bird was something I didn't know at the time. But when I was, because I came down, I was going to this place and spending time with the bird, making sure that there was something there, and blah blah blah. And the bird was super cool, and really liked me, and we got along well, and everything else. And then more research. Like I said, do your research. Go physically interact with
right.
do stuff to really know this animal. Anyway, then I find out this thing's going to live longer than I will,
Mm,
and I'm like, well, you know, there's a positive aspect to that, I guess, but the negative aspect is that this thing's going to live that long, which means there's no I mean I've got to have like an inheritance plan
right.
for an animal that's spent 60 years 70 years with me. You know what I mean? That's just didn't seem right to me.
Yeah. I mean, on the flip side, the worst part about owning a dog, I can tell you straight up, the absolute worst part is every 10 or 12 years they die, and
Yeah.
it rips me apart. And I've told myself like that's it, I'm done, I cannot do this again. But then then somebody gets into your heart a little bit and weasels their way in there. But then you find yourself, and time flies so fast. I can't even believe it.
It does.
And it's terrible. I
Maybe
hate
go
it.
volunteer at maybe go volunteer at a rescue or something,
Maybe
and you
that's a
get
good idea.
the option to have dogs around you and see them go maybe off to great homes, and you know you get a lot of touch with dogs, and you get that emotional satisfaction without you know
or
maybe
or like
or get five dogs
that might be
and
the
just be
problem.
happy.
That's the thing I have to worry about. Yeah, like bringing them all home. I don't-
I think I know someone that would put a stop to that after one, but
no, she keeps telling me that if I want a puppy, to get a puppy. I don't know.
well, like I said, after one,
Right.
might come home, and then after that. But that's the other thing. That would be a great way to spend time with and get to know the dog and really be sure this is the right fit for you
Mm.
before bringing them home.
Well, the one good thing that did come out of it, so we started walking him early in the mornings because he woke up a bundle of energy, ready to go, and I enjoyed it. So we started walking him, in the morning for 30 minutes to an hour, and we've decided to continue that ourselves. So we've been doing that every day, and
Well, that's nice.
yeah.
That's
So
really
we get up
nice.
at the crack of dawn and go out there, and she's got her little fitness watch and sets the goals on there and whatever. And no, I've been enjoying it.
Imagine, I just had this come through my head. I don't know why, but imagine if when the sun came up, it did actually crack, crack, like a super loud, like booming crack, like every morning. And then it would
Like
be the
just where
crack of
you're
dawn.
at, or like I guess it would have to
No,
continually crack. And
yep, the whole world would just be under constant cracking.
nice,
Be cool.
yeah,
It would be weird, but it would be cool. Maybe, maybe not.
yeah. You're a weirdo.
Like if you were trying to sleep in and then all of a sudden dawn cracks and you're like, damn it, really wanted to sleep
That's what
in
the
today.
crack of
Can I
dawn
just
is.
get one? Maybe. I don't know. I've been around for dawn before and it didn't crack at all. But you never know. Maybe we could make something happen.
Yeah, my
But
wife is not the biggest morning person, so it's been a little adjustment for her. I usually I call it I'm on chicken time. So when the sun is up,
All right. Well, that was fun.
yeah, no, that we had a little drop out there. So we were talking about the chicken time thing, and is I don't like I don't set an alarm, but when the sun comes up, I get up. When the sun goes down, I go to bed. Just kind of how I operate. You're kind of a night owl, but
I used to be.
you used to be.
Now, yeah, I don't know what changed. Just all of a sudden, the insomnia just kind of went away, and this has happened throughout my life, and it's always come back. I'm hoping it doesn't this time, but
Mm,
insomnia just kind of went away, and now I'm going to bed by like 11:30, midnight at the latest.
dude,
Sometimes a little early.
that's like so late for me. Every time I'm around
Yeah,
you, I'm
well,
like, man, this dude never sleeps.
compared to my more normal 3, 4 in the morning, and then wake up at 7 or 8 in the morning. I'm okay with it. I think,
Mm.
think I'll take this. Yeah. I just wake up in the morning now too. There's no, like, I set my alarm, but it never ends up going off.
Oh, okay.
Like I'll get somewhere around 6, maybe 7 hours of sleep, and then boom, I'm awake. It's a
Yeah.
done deal. There's
Yeah.
no going back to sleep.
The last alarms I set were, doing the dragon thing. I'd have to wake up at a certain time. And every time I hear that noise, even to this day, it's like, yeah, I cringe a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I kind of have to do this thing for these other people, so that I can afford to, like, exist on the
Mm,
planet, because the planet is expensive apparently.
yeah. Yes, it is.
Yes, it's an expensive planet. A lot of people own this planet, and just you got to pay them for the use, I guess. Fair use planet. No, no.
Terrible.
Anyway,
Well, hopefully people enjoyed our freeform banter today.
well, I think they will.
Yeah, maybe.
Whatever.
If they
I
don't, next
enjoyed it.
time we can go in depth on why Building 7 did not blow itself up.
Are you sure?
No.
Maybe it just got tired. It
I'm,
was like,
I'm still
guys,
looking
I'm
for
going to
that
take a little
for us to
break.
get that little blue information box about something.
Well, I think at this point that's
I'll
not going
keep
to
shoving
happen.
stuff in there a little bit.
There's enough there are enough inconsistencies and questions around that whole particular piece of the puzzle that yeah, I don't think anyone's going to, like, oh, disinformation, malinformation. And what is that all about anyway? Like, disinformation,
Yeah.
misinformation, okay. And then there's malinformation, right?
Oh, is that a new thing?
Malinformation.
I don't think I've
Well,
heard
yeah,
that one.
they started that, couple few years ago
All
during that
right.
that event, that the little global party that we had.
Mm.
um and it basically was anything that comes out that's true, but it might harm the kind of narrative, right? Is malinformation.
All
So
right.
it's actually true. It's correct information, but this could harm something, some plan, or some thing that we're trying to get done, if the truth came out. So it's and we sleptwalked through. Like, people just went, oh yeah, okay, malinformation.
And for people keeping track at home, this is how I get him into his rants.
I know,
I just
right?
slip
Yeah,
it in
it's
there so subtly, and then he goes at it.
poke, 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 poke. Yeah, pretty
You should,
much.
you should have your own segment. Do your little Havok rant.
I might. I
Do like
think it
a
would be
5 minute
funner
little
just to
deal.
have you. Yeah, I'll just go on my little rants on the thing, and I'll just make sure I pan the camera angle back over to you to watch your face, just kind of laughing.
Right? Right? Yeah, don't
Like,
do the
yep,
blocking me thing out. Just leave, so you can see my reaction the whole time.
right.
Nice.
Might have to do that,
Nice.
but only if you agree to dress up in a clown suit one time.
Nah, nah, nah.
What, are you afraid of clowns too?
Nah, I don't know. Not really.
Come on, little bozo the
I used to
clown
have a
with a
Ronald
hat.
McDonald doll when I was a kid.
I still think that would be fun.
I'm good.
Be
Maybe I'll get my
weird.
Darth Vader helmet. Of course, the headphones probably don't fit under that.
Yeah, it's fine. Nobody cares.
Right.
Just put them over the helmet. Pretend.
Nice.
We'll have to get some in-ear monitors.
Yeah, those things, I don't really do good with those things. They hurt me.
Mm.
My ears aren't big enough, I guess.
Well, they have some really good ones now, and they'll come with like 5 different sizes, um, which is interesting to me. Like I have to have 2 different sizes. Ear the whatever
Your
the
ear
part that
holes are
goes
two
in your
different
ear.
sizes?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So are my boobs. Want to see?
You wear two different size shoes?
No, but
No.
they are 2 different sizes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe we just need those
most people are
custom
like that.
ones like the professional musicians get where they mold the thing in your ear. That would be nice. They're probably not
That's
cheap though.
actually it's not that bad, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
It's not that terrible. No, it really isn't.
Mm.
Now the actual electronics and stuff, but the actual getting the mold
Oh,
done,
all right.
etc., not
Yeah.
that bad at all.
All right.
Yeah, just
Nice.
go in, they inject a bunch of crud in your ear, wait, pull it out, and then
Mm.
they take it off to a lab and
Flick the
put a
wax
little
chunks
ear
off.
hole in there. What's that?
Flick the wax chunks off.
Yeah, yeah, goes off nicely.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. There's someone back there making sure they're super clean. Mm,
Ooh, nice.
there we go.
Terrible.
I don't know which part is grosser that I thought about, like someone doing that and actually doing that, or the thought of someone doing that and then sticking it in your ear. Which one's grosser? I don't know. Leave a comment. Let us know what you
Yeah, leave a
think.
comment. Hopefully y'all
Licking your
enjoyed today.
earwax from your butt
I don't
really.
know. It was enjoyable for me. Enjoyable for
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, no, it's
I've
been good.
enjoyed it. I enjoy it pretty much every time we do this.
That was a quick hour.
Yeah,
It went by pretty fast.
57 minutes.
Now I get to
57 minutes.
replace a door on the bedroom. Yay for me. I'm more of a metal guy. I don't do the wood thing so much. But speaking of metal, have you used your new welder yet?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have?
No,
Oh, liar.
I moved it though.
Does that count as using it?
Kind of.
All right.
I mean.
Maybe we'll have to glue some
No.
metal together when I come up to visit.
Yeah, that would be cool. I actually need to get, like I told you, I need to get a cart for it. I need to
Mm,
get a cart because, well, you know the area.
yeah.
That thing's not light and it's in a small form factor, but
Right.
not small enough to be like, let me just lift it and carry it,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's about
If
100
I was,
pounds. Yeah.
yeah. And so, given all that, taking it down a gravel driveway and then
Mm,
across where the chickens are and all that
yeah.
stuff, I've got to have some way of being able to do that. And it hasn't been a super huge priority.
Mm. When you need it, it'll become a priority.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Until then, it's just kind of sitting there. I know the thing. I haven't used mine in a while either.
Well, I mean, I've got to do a little bit of education just on setup and getting it going. Not that big of a deal. But then I've got to get some scrap metal that I can play with.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I got T-posts, I got fencing, and some 14 gauge wire. None of that is conducive to
Not
welding.
really. Nah.
Maybe the T-posts, but still, no desire to stick T-posts together. That
Do I need to
really
bring
no
you some
good
scrap
T-post.
down there? Up there?
I mean, if you have some laying around, sure, I wouldn't mind having some, but I think I can find it around here.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too
Um,
difficult.
yeah, not that big of an issue. But it's just about setting aside, a day
Right.
where that's what I'm doing. Nothing else is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's
That's
where
it.
it comes in. It's like, yeah, I want to do this. I really, really do. But at the same time, there's all these other things that need to be done. And this really is I would like to do this, not this needs to be done.
Mm. Right.
So, like you said, when it comes down to it and I really need it, well, all of a sudden now it's something I need, not
That's how
something
things
I
work.
want. Yeah. Yeah.
Now today I become an expert in mortising hinges on a door, which is really not my thing. Anyway, I think I should probably get to it. Any
Oh, really?
any
You're bugging
closing
out, huh?
thoughts?
Closing thoughts? No,
No.
I don't know. No, no closing thoughts.
I mean, tell everybody
I
have a
think
nice
I
day.
well maybe I guess.
Thank
Yeah,
you for
closing
tuning in,
thoughts.
everyone. We really do
Yeah,
appreciate
closing.
you spending your time here, and we invite you to come again. If you enjoyed anything, leave a comment. If you hated us, leave a comment. Maybe a thumbs up, all that jazz. If not, just appreciate you stopping by.
Click that subscribe button. Why can I not say that word? Subscribe. Anyway, click the subscribe button, and no matter what, wherever you are, whenever you're listening to this, have an amazing day.
See you, everybody.